Hey guys, welcome to Altered States. I know, surprise. It's Jennifer Outwater, not Rachel Warren, and I'm so sorry to, to disappoint you guys. Rachel's not feeling well. We're not sure if she has a sinus infection or even possibly COVID. We're opting for the sinus infection, but she will be back with you guys next Monday night for sure, and she sends all of her love. So, without further ado, ta-da! Just kidding, jazz hands. Hey guys, it's so good to see everybody in. I'm so excited. I was scared nobody would come in because it was me. I was like, oh no. Hey Amanda. Hey Tina. Hey Kelsey. Carol. Hey sweetheart. It's so good to see you guys. Hey Victor. I love all y'all so much. You guys are just making our job so easy, but we got lots to talk about, and I know we do. And I know normally I don't do a lot of readings with you guys, but tonight, in honor of Rachel, I am absolutely going to do that. So I'll be answering any questions that you guys have reading wise. Mine are a little different since I'm a medium. I am going to say this, guys. Let's try not to do a whole lot of crossing over stuff. It's really hard in a format like this where I can't connect with your voice sometimes to get those people to come in. If things come in, believe me, I'm going to offer them up. But for the most part, if you guys want a reading, let me know. And let me know directly what's going on with you or what your question is so I can give you the most information possible. So we have a lot going on. What a weekend, right? I told you guys it was going to get crazy. And she showed up, right? Crazy walked right in the building. No doubt about it. Hey, Tina. Hey, Tammy. I see you, sweetie. And listen, you guys bear with me too, because y'all know I'm doing this on my own. So I will try to make sure that I get everything in as good as I can. Couple of things. Um, oh, Carol, thank you. I appreciate that. So Carol was saying she really resonated with the message today. I appreciate that. I try to keep you guys as updated as I can. Friday, I didn't put a message out because I'm going to be honest with you. I was tripping Friday. Like I had a hard time keeping myself grounded. I was pretty irritable. I'm not going to lie. Had kind of a rough one. Thursday and Friday both were iffy for me, but there was a lot going on, and it has definitely spilled over into where we are today, and we are not even remotely out of the woods. For those of you that were in on Thursday and watched the special edition that we had with Rachel, even though she was in and out because of audio and sound stuff, and with Victor, we talked a lot about the 28th. That's kind of the power play, and that's tomorrow. So let me say this before we start readings, because I'm thrilled, thrilled, thrilled to get to do it for you guys. I never get to do it, but it's so exciting that we have some big aspects, okay? And so one of the major ones, and I don't want to get into a political debate, but I'm going to throw this out there because it's very, very, very relevant. Last month and the month before that, I had said, with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing and a lot of the stuff that we were seeing women get really volatile. The feminine energy had been inverted really hard, and it had been. When this alignment culminated on the 24th, we saw masculine energy step in a way. And let me be clear, this is not targeted at men. I'm talking about masculine energy, authoritative energy, energy that is not emotional, right? That is only based in what is considered practical or logical. So when Roe versus Wade happened this weekend, that was that energetic. So let me be clear on what's going on. We have Jupiter in Aries. Aries is the god of war, right? It's about that authoritarian, strict mentality of coming down and putting the finger down on everybody, of trying to force rule. And we knew this was coming up, right? We knew that the energies in the 3D would push us down and try to get us to a point of desperation and anger. We know this is what's going on. We also have Saturn in Aquarius. Now, here's the cool thing about that. Saturn in Aquarius right now, and I mean right now, means that we are being given the opportunity to create the world we want to be in. That Aquarian energy and Saturn being in it means it's all up to us. Nothing is carved in stone until we as a collective carve it in stone. Okay. So with that being said, keep that in mind, guys, and we'll kind of get through all of this together like we always do. I'm going to scroll up and just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Amanda, I know you're in southern Missouri. I used to live in Ava a long time ago. A whole nother lifetime ago, I sang in Branson, and I had a 40-acre cattle farm in Missouri, and I loved it. It was amazing. But they called it Booger County, which was crazy. And then I've got land in Kentucky, and that's in Hazard. Woo! That's a whole nother thing. All right. So let me make sure I'm getting everybody down. Amanda, I'm looking forward to this evening too. You are so precious. You guys are so sweet. So Miss Tina, I see you here and you are wanting a reading. Can you tell me specifically what can I help you with? Can you give me somewhere to go with that so that I can make sure I get it as direct as possible? All right. Until I'm getting that, let me see what Amanda said. Yeah, fam in Booker County. Let me tell you, I always pick the weirdest bleeding places to go and live with the strangest names, but I loved it there. I had the best time. Okay, so Tina, you said you have a health reading. Okay, no worries, absolutely. All right, let me jump in. So give me a minute. You guys know I don't use tarot. I actually use playing cards. I've always done it this way. I just never learned tarot. I don't know why. They just didn't resonate for me. And I think years ago when I started doing mediumship like publicly because it was not acceptable in the South, nor with my family, I chose playing cards because it gave me somewhere to focus my attention, but it also gave the clients somewhere to look instead of just looking at me like I was a super freak, which was usually what was going on. So let me jump in and see where we can go with health. So one of the first things that I pull up with you, Tina, and I'm gonna pop you guys up here, okay, just so I can keep up. I'm sorry, I'm old, selective dementia, but one of the things that I pick up the most is there are two factors that come in and affect you really strongly. Now, this affects a lot of people, but with you, it's really different. There is one factor of your health that is affected by how you view stability, financial stability, and the stability of the material things around you. And when those things are offset, you typically start to have minor health issues that come in with that. I don't know what it is. It's like this old residual cellular memory of being controlled. It's kind of interesting because it comes back up with that male energetic of having male figures in your life that just bring up trauma. It's like it just recreates in your body. It's like it's constantly generating something when you're around these types of people. So it's that part's really sad for me to watch, and I'm trying to go down. Okay, I'm going to keep jumping back and forth. I'm sorry because I'm trying to watch the comments. But so we have that going on. Listen, there are a couple of things for you with me that I'm going to hit. There's one area, and I'm feeling it in my sternum. Actually, I've got a little bit of a pain there. Typically, I'll start feeling a little bit of what you guys feel, but I've got in my sternum, so that feels more for me like stomach and diaphragm. There's something in that area that's it's painful. My gosh, it's right under the right breast muscle for me. Um, but then there's also like back and hip. There's like joint problems or muscular problems that go down into the glute, that go down into the hips and the buttocks. While I'm doing this, please keep up with me and let me know if I'm hitting these targets for you, because I want to make sure that I get there. I will tell you one of the things that I do pick up with you is dietary, but I also pick up neuropathy and circulation with all of this. So there's something going on between the stomach and coming down into the hip area that seems to have dietary effect, could have a big effect on it, but it also feels, yeah, like almost like a side effect of that is neuropathy, which would be, okay, but most people know the obvious stuff, tingling and these sort of things, loss of sensation, but it can also be memory loss. It can also be memory loss. It can also be weird appetite swings that'll come in with that, that'll make the stomach or make the nervous system feel like it's starving, or it wants nothing at all. It shuts down completely and doesn't want anything at all. in it. So I'm going to tell you, I think there's something going on in that area that is emotionally based for you that has to be addressed. I think there's some work there that has to be done to release all of that old oppressive energy, because it feels for me like you're dragging this not just from this lifetime but from many lifetimes. You're coming into your own this time around, but you're dragging a lot of cellular memory and a lot of cellular DNA that brings those things like back in the forefront, brings them back kind of into the reality that we're in right now. Please clean up your diet. Please cut grease completely out of your diet. Like, you can do coconut oil or olive oil, but no snack foods, no chips. Please, no more soda. Like, I don't care if it says diet or 0 calorie, it's killing your stomach. All of that has to be backed off of. If you'll do that, the water retention will come down, the pressure on the joints will come down, the pain in your stomach and in your digestive tract will calm down, and you'll be in a much better position. That's going to alleviate a lot of that. The neuropathy could be B12, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's not a B12 deficiency. Even if you're getting enough red meat, a lot of Caucasian people, a lot of people of Nordic descent or Northern Europe descent have a hard time holding and absorbing B12. I do as well. I have to take a shot in my bum. It's not fun, but I'm just saying, you may not need the shot, but you may need to take it sublingual. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Okay, let me jump down. That's all true. Awesome. Lots of digestive issues. I am incredibly sorry to hear that. But we do have to build your gut health, right? Like, you have to, I can't say this to everybody, all of you guys, get off the sodas. They are murder. They are the diet in this country. I haven't lived on it because I've been in Europe for so long, cooking real Italian food and Greek food for so long, that I can't eat that stuff. I get sick immediately when I eat American food. It is horrible. Please get off the soda. You can have all the espresso you want, okay? You can have all the, even tonic water. You can have soda water or tonic water. But be careful with all of these things. We just got to clean your diet up. So a lot more greens, a lot more tomatoes. Watch things with seeds, Tina. Try to be careful with that, because this is not Crohn's, but it does behave kind of like that in your digestive tract. So I hope that helps a little bit, and I hope we can get you on a path to healing all of that stuff, because I know it can make you crazy. It can absolutely make you crazy. Carol, I love Carol jumping in, because Carol's in this field. The gut is the house for immunity. It is. Listen, especially for women, our gut health is the most important thing. You can overlook everything else. I'm being honest. You can overlook a little bit of weight. You can overlook, boy, I'm being politically correct right now, girl stuff. You can overlook a lot, but your gut health, if that's intact, you are super good. Okay. So let's take care of that. I'm sure Carol's got a lot of resources for you, because she's so in that realm of work all day, every day. Aw, you are so sweet. God, I love y'all. I really do. Not as glad as some people. Girl, please. I would hug you so much right now. If I could get my hands on y'all, I would kiss y'all's faces up in a very awkward way. I said that to my girlfriend Lisa when I just went out to Arizona. She was an old client of mine for years, and we became just soul sisters. We just became connected. I am that way with most of my clients. And I told her, I said, I'm going to hold you and hug you so awkwardly. I may wrap one leg around your leg. It might get weird, but just let me finish. Right? Like, don't don't try to pull away. There could be dire consequences on that. So let me jump over to Amanda really quick. You have a question. You have a possible new position, and you're wondering if you will get the position. Even before I pull the cards, I'm going to say this. Don't know what it is about the name Rose or Roses that comes in around you, but there is something about that name and that flower that rings so strong and true for me. You have a group of women who are angels on the other side, who walk with you and protect you like nobody's business. Because, darling, you come from a line of sassy women. So let me get into this. It will absolutely come through. I see whatever finalization you have going on with that position should be finalized by the 10th of July. I'd get pretty specific, guys, give or take a couple of days, but Most of the times I'm pretty specific with times and what's going on. It looks around like the 10th of July. Things are going to move really fast for you in that position and move forward really fast. You're going to have to stay on your game. And here's the thing. I know because I can hear you saying it. You want something that challenges you. You want something to bust you out of the norm. Even though this feels kind of still in that wheelhouse of the norm, where you're going to go with this is way, way out of your norm. You do need challenge. You're somebody that needs to be own it, right? Like you're not a follower. Some people, and I say that kindly, some people do very well in those positions of following a strong leader. We all have to have one, right? You can't have too many chiefs and not enough Indians. That's a fact. But you are really, really good at motivating people and pushing people to do well. The only thing you have to watch for you when you move into this, so the answer is yes, do me a favor, don't take on so much that it gives you something to be pissy about later, because you tend to take the world on your shoulders and say, I've got all of this. And then 2 days later, you're like, this is ridiculous. I don't know why somebody else can take some of the load. Be careful with that, okay? Be really careful not to go down that road. So have some boundaries in this about kind of how much you can handle. And I'm trying to go down and see your comments as well. Be careful about that. So your granny and your Aunt Dina are on the other side. Yeah, I know that's you, girl. I can feel it. I can feel it on you all day long. I'm saying be careful. Here's the thing. We all ask for a lot, right? And right now you have to remember that what we are putting out and attracting on an intention level is coming in very, very quickly. Sometimes it's manifesting faster than we can move with it. So don't ask for more than you can handle. We have to know our limitations and be honest with ourselves about what they are so that we can execute what we're doing at 100%. Have boundaries up. It's all the Aquarius in me. Probably. Except for your moon is in Aries, so your ass wants to fight. I'm joking. Listen, I'm so bad with astrology. I am the worst. I know enough to be dangerous and not enough to be smart, for sure, when it comes to astrology. Even with my own, I have no idea what I'm talking about with it most of the time. I do watch the movements, like I said the other day. I do keep an eye on that stuff, but the rest of it, I just kind of, space out on it for just a second. So let me see where I'm at. Amanda, did that answer everything for you? Because if it didn't, I will absolutely come back and answer some more. Kelsey, this weekend was rough, ended up in the ER. Oh my God, with chest pains and still hasn't gone away. Guessing it's stress related. I am so sorry, first of all, sweetheart. We are, all of us, everybody watching, sorry to hear that. I will say there's been a lot going on with the energetic movement and the sensation, and I had them this weekend too, that it came in like chest pain and palpitation. A lot of that's just anxiety, sweetheart. I'm not worried about anything permanent or long-term or even intermediate that's going on with you in that arena, but it is a bout of anxiety. You've had a lot going on. You've got a lot pending. It's normal, but we got to find a way to breathe through some of that stuff so that you can work through it. Okay. Pretty much most, I'll be honest with you, 90% of the illnesses that we end up creating, because we do, are always stress, right? Like we have to pay attention to that kind of stuff. If that happened to you this weekend, I need you to step back and go, I'm overdoing it. Do you know what I mean? Just like I said to Amanda, don't take more on your plate than you can handle. Be realistic with yourself. None of us are gods here. We're creators, but none of us are gods, right? Like we have to slow down and take it back a notch. It always feels like we should go do more because we've been pinned down so much for the last 2 years. And now we feel that oppressive energy back on top of us. And it makes us just want to go, 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 go. But you will find that you will spin your wheels and get anxious. So slow, 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 right? Take it really easy with that. And I hope we don't have any more issues with that, Kelsey, because honestly, I think it would break all of our hearts if something happened. You do need to get out of your own head. Absolutely. Listen, your own head is the most dangerous place you can possibly be. Unless you've learned how to manage head energy and heart energy, getting out of your head is the most dangerous place you can be. I've said to my students many times in the last couple of weeks, because of what's been going on, Don't go into the head energy. Absolutely do not. Go straight into heart energy, right? Because if you go into head energy, you're going to lose your mind. You have to go into heart energy, and maybe that's why you had that attack, that pain, that feeling, because you need to go back to the source of what makes you feel good, right? What resonates with you? What's making you feel calm and happy and blissful? Step out of your head. Danger, danger, danger. All right, Miss Tammy, I see you, sweet girl. Let me. You're having. Okay, thank you. I was going to say, what do you need help with? But I see it now. So give me just a second. Having issues with your granddaughter. Girl, get in line. Hang on, I need a drink on that one. I don't know if y'all got a drink, but if you do, cheers. I know y'all have heard me say this, but I have 4 biological children and 1 adopted child. And they're all adults except for 1. And the 12-year-old I just caught heating up food in a bowl. Now, he knows how to cook somewhat. He can make pasta and those sort of things. But I caught him putting rice in a bowl and putting the bowl on the stove. So you see where I'm going with this. But let's get into what's going on with your daughter. So, listen, one of the major things here going on, and it's not uncommon. I have to say this because it's really easy for us sometimes to get super aggravated them while they're going through their growing pains, because it is annoying and we hate watching them make stupid mistakes. We know that we went through it too, but sometimes it's really hard for us to sit back and watch them go through the motions of what they have to go through. But like many people in that age category and many people in my age category, this one is interesting. This one's interesting. So there's a duality here. There are 2 parts to your daughter that I pick up, and it is a real duality. So I don't know, and I'm not going to assume that she is dealing with any type of chemical imbalance. Maybe she is. Maybe that's part of the duality. Maybe she's not. Maybe it's just growing pains. But there's one side of that duality that is so hyper intelligent, so grounded, so oh God, I'm trying to think of the right word. Well assimilated into this reality as far as understanding every little aspect of it, because she's a detail person in that duality. In that duality, she is keeping up with every little thing. She remembers everything that's ever said. She remembers everything that ever happened, even if she's remembering and saying those things in her own personal view of that memory, but she keeps up with everything. The opposite side of that is her being too far gone in things, going too far, not knowing when to quit, not knowing where the balance is, and constantly trying to pick up these people who don't deserve that energy and that time. She's got this real caregiver thing about her where she wants to save people. I would say she's highly empathic. Absolutely. And I think that's where the duality comes in. A lot of the times people who have a high resonance and empathy like that will come off almost like they have an imbalance because they stay in a duality so much. There's one side that's trying to survive the world. There's the other side that's trying to save the world. They tend to have a savior complex quite often. So I see her picking up a lot of, stragglers and people trying to help everybody all the time. And in that, losing herself in the fantasy of that she has it all under control. That aspect is pretty aggravating. I would say with her, she will grow out of this. How much damage will she do before then? I don't know, to be honest with you. It's hard to say with anybody how far are they going to abuse themselves through the growing pains and the growing process. I can tell you she will come out all right. And a big player in this with you guys is you 2 are very similar. You're very, very similar. You're not so far off in who you are and how you feel about things. It may feel like that right now, but I can tell you that you guys are not that far off. Let me jump down so I can see if there's any comments from you, Tammy, because, yeah, she's just very defiant. You think she does have a chemical imbalance? She might, sweetie. It feels like a heavy duality for me, like a really heavy duality. And I don't know if she can control all of it. Sometimes that is just immaturity. Do you know what I mean? It's just that juvenile energetics. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it needs some help. I mean, oh Lord, she just wants to argue all the time with family. Yeah. I mean, this is the problem. You know, a lot of the times they will, highly empathic people like that will view their family as the enemy while they're out trying to save the rest of the world. So it may be worth it if you can get her calm enough, let's call it a intervention, um, to really sit her down and say, look, some things have got to change. There's got to be some strong boundaries because we're just not doing this anymore. Right. And it's okay for you to say that. Sorry, we're not participating in this anymore. If you're going to be here, then you're going to have to get it together. I've got one child like that. He and I do not talk very often. When we have talked over the last couple of years, it was not good. And my final response was, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't call. Right. And it's okay to put that boundary up. It's not you shutting the child out, but we all have to have a garden gate around our peace, right, around our harmony, to make sure that everybody else inside the walls is living as harmoniously as we can. And sadly, as the mom, you know, we have to protect the cave. So put some boundaries down, sweetie. Put some boundaries down. But if you can get her to talk with you openly about it, maybe you guys can talk about seeing a therapist or a counselor. I don't think she needs a psychologist. I just think a lot of this is her having a high level of empathy. I think she needs to learn how to understand that. She probably needs more support in those areas because I think she just picks up on everything, right? Like she's like a lint roller, just rolling through the streets, rolling through the universe, picking up a sock here, a little bit of fuzz there, you know. So in your eye, in her eyes, you're the bad guy. Darling, I've been the bad guy for 30 years. Don't even, just let that roll right off. Let it roll off. Don't even worry about it. If I lost sleep about how many times I've been the bad guy, I would literally never sleep. The truth is they come around just like we did. It takes some time, and you're not the bad guy. Just set some really strong boundaries, okay? That you have to do. If you don't set the boundaries, you can't hold her accountable for where she is, right? This is the one thing I've always said. I will not be a hypocrite with my kids. If I say to them, here's the line, and if you cross that line, this is my personal line, then you and I are going to have issues. I hold them to it. But I also hold myself to that same line of accountability. So just set the boundaries up, baby doll. You got this. You got this. I'm going to try to get through. I'm going to go back for a second. So let me go back because I'm missing all these fabulous comments. I love you guys. So Miss Carol, the crazy was absolutely present. Yeah, chaos, crazy, tons of finger pointing at you. It's going to happen. Listen, if you stand in a way in this energetic that holds people accountable for their actions and is a no BS kind of attitude, and you're truly living in that neutrally, people are going to point the finger at you all the time, right? I mean, like, you might as well just go ahead and start wearing a tinfoil suit so it bounces off a little bit. This is the way that it is. I get it. This is why I don't go out in public unless I have to, because I already know people are going to get snarky, and then I'm going to try not to get snarky, but then I enjoy it a little bit because, you know, it is what it is. Oh, cool. You got a good story about reading the playing cards? You do owe me 2 stories, woman. I expect 2 video stories, in fact, because you typing them is going to take forever. And not that I don't mind taking the time to read them, but I would love a video. Send me some videos of that. I would love to hear it. I started with the playing cards years ago because I just didn't feel comfortable. I don't know why. The tarot never resonated with me. Maybe it was because I grew up super religious. And not that the cards represent something different, but the symbology for me was so rooted in old school archetypes, like outdated archetypes for me. I'm not saying this for other people, that I just felt zero connection to it. I mean, I could have looked at all of them and went, yeah, that's awesome, right? But it just didn't ring for me. Like there was nothing in it that did anything for me at all. Miss Pamela, how are you doing? Sweet girl, I hope your Monday's good, and I hope like heck that your weekend was not as ludicrous as the rest of ours was. But if you can, Pamela, I'm going to jump and go do one reading in between. But if you can tell me what specifically I can help you with, I'll be so happy to get you in and do whatever I can do, okay? Oh, Miss Tina, you don't drink any soda at all, but lots of coffee? Okay, can I make a suggestion to you? I know a lot of people are scared of real Italian espresso, but let me tell you something. It is clarified and produced in a different way in that it doesn't have the same level of tannin that American coffee has in it, which means it won't upset your stomach, right? I literally can have 10 or more espresso a day and go to sleep. And my digestion is perfect and I don't have any issues and I'm not jittery. It's none of that. Change maybe the type of coffee that you're drinking, and that'll help because the tannin levels will really eat the inside of your stomach. I mean, let's be legit here. They clean leather with tannin. Leather hides are cleaned with tannin and urine. So obviously you're not drinking urine, but I'm just saying maybe we want to get off the tannin. Let's see if I can jump down real quick. Miss Pamela, what do we got doing? Okay. You're doing great. Awesome. I'm super happy to hear that, sweet girl. You look really beautiful in your picture, by the way. I stalk you guys sometimes when I'm in here doing work for other people. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are so beautiful. You're just going through some personal stuff with your mom, with the house, and your grandma. See, that's so tricky. That kind of stuff drives me crazy. I'm orphaned. I don't have any family, and I'm an only child, but I remember what this was like going through when my mom passed, because she left quite a bit. My father just left illegitimate children in debt. So I didn't have to worry with them, but I know what you're talking about. It's really rough. That's the reason that my kids will be left nothing. I pretty much liquidated everything I had. Anything that I have at the time that I go will go to St. Jude. That way we just don't have to have any squabbles in the family. But let me see what I can do with you. Girl, the first thing that comes up with you guys is the communication level is horrible, 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 horrible. Here's the thing. Everybody's overly emotional, right? Everybody's got this sense of being right in the situation. Everybody feels like they're right in the situation. Absolutely. And the truth is, both are right and both are wrong. So it's kind of a crazy thing going on. Now, I am a little curious with Grandma's house. Did Grandpa leave that to her? You'll have to let me know later. But did Grandpa leave that to her and then it passed down and she was saying you wanted to have it or she wanted you to have it? Because there's this whole family influence that comes in of especially with Mom, that everybody feels like they're entitled, right? Like everybody did the work. Everybody put their time in. They deserved it. They've earned it. They did everything that they could do. There's this real sense of that. As far as will it finish up? Yes. I don't know if it's going to go exactly the way that you want it, though. To be honest with you, I think that this gets put off for quite a while, unless you're willing to make some kind of cooperative agreement with your mom in the sense of that she has it until she goes and then it comes to you. This would be an easy solution that you could get wrapped up with an attorney. Just throw this into a trust, basically a charitable trust, which would make you the charity. And so the property would roll in that way and then it can't be sold, right? Nothing can be done with it. It also means that any improvements or anything that would be done to it in the meantime would have to go through the trust. So you've been living there for 9 years. Okay. Let me jump up here so I can see this. That's a lot. I'm just telling you. It's one of these things where it's going to go back and forth. I think you guys can find some common ground on this. I really do. If you guys can really sit down and hash this out, you guys can find some common ground. But it is that sense of everybody feeling like that they've earned it. Like, I don't want to say entitlement. I don't want to say it like that. But there is a sense of everybody feeling ownership with this. Unless you want to be in a court battle, your mom's being really greedy. People are sometimes, sweetie. I went through that with my dad. But there's nothing much you can do about it unless you want to take your own mother to court. And I can't imagine that would make anything any easier. I would really go the route of trying to wrap this up into a trust. If that's something, if you can give it a minute and step away from it, like give it a little space, and then you guys talk about it a little more calmly, maybe this is something that could work out. But otherwise, I don't see it working exactly in your favor. I hate to tell you that, but I don't. I think the only end that you have here is to go in the smart way and to drop your guard Do you know what I mean? And see if you can get her to drop hers and see if you guys can come to some kind of agreement like that. But I'm sorry that you're going through it, sweetie. That's really, really rough. That's why I sold everything. Like, I just didn't want to deal with it. When my grandparents went, when my mom went, I mean, my dad finally just went, but like I said, you know, what am I going to go take? Horse saddles, moonshine distilleries. I couldn't even find the whole thing. I was going to, I thought about it, but I couldn't even find the whole thing. But yeah, you just kind of, you have sisters, another Mr. Buying House. Okay. Honey, you know, listen, here's the thing. Sadly, you're just going to have to kind of take the high road for right now, let things calm down. You have to remember everybody's going through this energetic right now, and it sucks. And there is a lot of greed in it. There is a lot of that manipulation and a lot of that narcissism. And I'm assuming that that's going to ring very true for you when it comes to your mom, right? That she has highly narcissistic tendencies. But you have to find some logical way to detach emotionally just a little bit so you can kind of get what you want to. I think you can do that if we all just pull back a little bit. All right, let me see. I hope that answers it. If it doesn't, baby girl, feel free to put in a little more and I will get back to you on that, okay? All right, let me scroll through so I can keep up with you guys. So Kelsey said she's been trying to go for walks, sit outside, and start swimming again. Good girl. Honey, just stay with that. Stay in your joy. Do you know what I mean? Joy's hard to find right now. It's running thin on the shelves. But if you find a way to stock up on it, even if it's just for 5 minutes, stock up, buy it out. Let's see what Miss Carol's got. Oh, she's French. Oui, oui, huh? So there's a woman at your job who's constantly claiming credit for everything you do, referring to oui, oui. I feel as if this is attached to her own inadequacy. She has self-appointed herself as my supervisor. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, and anytime somebody gets into the position of being the French supervisor, and it is all oui, oui, even when it's not, that's always going to be her own ego and her inadequacy. I mean, at the end of the day, this goes back to what I was saying before with Tammy. You have to have, I know you know how to set boundaries, Carol. There's no doubt about that. But you better set them real firm. Teamwork in everything is great, especially where you are and what you're doing. Absolutely, hands down. But if this woman has self-appointed herself as your supervisor, you need to let her know that you two are walking side by side and that y'all are not in a Muslim relationship. She's not walking 10 steps ahead. That was snarky, and I'm sorry. So actually, I have lots of Muslim friends. Nothing negative in there, but yeah, you need to really just kind of stay on top of her. I'm going to pull a little bit on her. It's interesting because she always gets looked over like she's always trying to go for promotion. It never works out for her, which makes me sad for her a lot, to be honest with you. And it looks like to me, she's divorced at least once, but it looks like for me that things are always out of control for her. I'm not sure if she has an adult son or an older son, but it feels like things are constantly out of control for her. She's just sad and desperate. Do you know what I mean? For some kind of connection, for some kind of validation. So as annoying as it is, if you can set the boundary, but also view the higher perspective, maybe this passes a little bit. I know you can't fill those roles because you already got a bad taste in your mouth, but maybe just the removing the pressure or the feeling or removing your energetic from it will be enough to let it kind of calm down a little bit. And especially when some boundaries are set up in that. I think boundaries are the one thing, even for really strong personalities, that we screw up a lot with in relationships with other humans. We either put up boundaries that are like a damn border wall. We don't put up anything, right? And then we get really irritated. I do it. I mean, I've had to work on mine a lot, but it's something that we have to learn how to manage in a healthy way, where we're not being snarky, where we're not hurting people, but we're just setting the line out. And I know you're a master at that, Carol, so I know you can do it. But if you can remove yourself emotionally from it a little bit and view her as a spectator, I think it'll pull that resistance off the energetic, because it's kind of like snapping a rubber band on your arm, right? Like when we're pulling in one direction, we're obviously getting resistance in the other direction. If we can remove that, I think she will calm down a lot. And I think it'll make it a lot easier for her to kind of move into that role with you of very strong boundaries. She's just sad. She's just a sad human. That breaks my heart. I hate that. Her rebellion may be her defense mechanism. Yeah. You're talking about Tammy's daughter. Absolutely. See that, and that's the thing. I mean, I remember not so long ago, because my daughter is the oldest, when she left Italy to come back to the States. Of course, she was spreading her wings. Do you know what I mean? She was a pain in my arse. She was defiant. She was going through the growing pains. And so was I, right? Like, I had to step back and try not to get too squirrely with it. But we definitely had a couple of years of round and round. Sometimes we still bump heads, but the older she's gotten, the more in love with each other we are. So it will come around, especially when moms and daughters are a lot alike, and you guys are. Carol, you're turning. I'm about to put you on the dang network, girl. I'm about to give you a show. I'm telling you right now, and I'm not above it either. I am not above it. Pamela, you're so, yeah. Yes, ma'am, on the narcissism. Listen, we live in a society of narcissists. I mean, that's 3D energetic. There's no two ways around it, and there's no other way to look at it. We have to recognize it for what it is. When you're dealing with narcissists, there's only a couple ways to go around it. If you can make it look attractive for her, like it benefits in her in some way, then you can probably work around it with her. And you are very welcome, beautiful girl. I will hold energy for you for sure, and I will definitely hold you in meditation and prayer. I hope that goes well. Carol, I love you too, girl. And I'm glad you love it, and you're welcome. Yep, put her in the bleachers. See, this is how we win. We don't have to beat people down. They just have to become irrelevant without us being a-holes about it. When we pull our energy back like that, we're actually allowing them the room to go heal, because if we're attached to it, they can't go heal from this, right? We're also holding them down. The higher perspective is to stand back, to observe, to give them the space that they need, and also to include them in your prayer and meditation, that they do push forward, that they do heal, because everybody on this planet is traumatized. Everybody on this planet is traumatized. Everybody's carrying damage. Everybody's sad. Everybody's scared in certain levels. Everybody's lonely. Do you know what I mean? Even in relationships, every single person's going through this. It's really, really hard for everybody, but we have to do that from a higher perspective. If we're going to move now and shift into a whole new reality that we get to create, let's create it. Do you know what I mean? Let's don't talk about it. Let's do it. Like, let's be the example. Let's be the front line. Let's drive that force in a way that's so detached in a loving way and so healthy that they can't help but follow, that they can't help but see us. I think that's the right way to do it. You guys are the absolute best. So anybody have any crazy stuff this weekend? Like, did you guys run into anything, or did anybody have like massive problems with people they weren't expecting? Or I'm curious to know what was going on with you guys in that scenario, because my weekend was absolutely bonkers. There was nothing normal about my weekend at all. We had, I'm sure you guys, well, some of you guys who are attached to my personal page, which is under Paige McIntyre. Just so we're clear, I have to use a different name. That's my middle name and my maiden name. Many, many years ago, when I worked in Russian television, I had a crazy person who stalked me all the way to the US, and I had to change my name. So my real name's not up there. But I put a video up. We just had these missiles shooting off yesterday. It was the weirdest thing. And they were Stinger missiles, and they were long-range missiles, and they were all over my house. Like, we counted, I think, 11 before we finally bailed. We freaked out and said, we're out, right? Like, it was incredible. I filmed everything. So if you guys get really bored, you can go watch the video. But it was absolute pandemonium. I'd never seen anything like it. And Romy and I were both like, yeah, we're good, right? Like, I'm out. I don't need to do any more of this. It was absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to jump over here just a second to the Facebook page, because I want to make sure that I'm seeing y'all's comments. So give me just a second, because I know. What was the name of what, Tammy? Of my page? or of the trust. If it's a trust, it's a charitable trust. My mother was an attorney. I used to write these for her. They're amazing. My page is under Paige McIntyre. I will put it in the comments. And then if you guys want to connect with me on a personal level and see lots of beautiful pictures of Italy, you will see many, many of them. So there it is. Middle name and maiden name. She's Scottish. Oh, God, watch out. So Carol said she stayed away from everybody. I think we're gearing up for the week. Amen, girl. Listen, I'm steering clear. And it's funny because this weekend we were supposed to be working really hard. We've got 3 students from the class flying in from East Texas, plus their children to stay for 4 days. Victor and I have erected 1 teepee. We've got another one coming in today, and we're doing sweat lodges. So if you guys ever want to come out and do that, let me know. But we're going to be doing a lot of sweat lodge and spiritual work with them, taking them in, and I'll be doing some deep hypnosis to kind of take them down. But we were supposed to be working on all that, and we just couldn't. Like, we just had to put it down. And it wasn't so much Vic, it was me. Like, I was not in a good place. I didn't want anybody around me. I mean, I was just really having a hard time with it. So I get you 100%. Although today it feels a lot lighter. I think Friday and Saturday and Sunday were the worst for me. I'm hoping the worst is over. Yeah, Tammy, if you want to look it up, the launch is on there, but it's also on YouTube. If you guys ever get the chance, go over and see the Ascension Network on YouTube. All of the shows that we do and a whole bunch of other material is on there, and you guys can watch it anytime, but it's there as well. But it was crazy. And Carol saying today was unhinged. Yeah. Listen, I'm telling you guys, thanks, Tammy. I appreciate that, baby. Jump in and watch it. Let me know what you think, too. Tomorrow is the big one. Remember, we talked about this tomorrow. Tomorrow is the big one when everything comes in. Remember, tonight we have a meteor shower. That's going to be starting about 10 p.m. my time here in Mountain Daylight Time in El Paso, so East Coast. That's going to be around midnight, will be the peak. That's going on. We've got Saturn moving, Pluto's, I'm sorry, not Pluto. Where's it Pluto? I can't remember. One of them's going retrograde. There's too many planets. I can't. My Uranus is up my Uranus right now. I can't keep up with all of it, but there's a lot going on astrologically. One of the bigger things that was going on is we have where Saturn is moving, or I'm sorry, not Saturn, where this whole situation is going with Aries and with Jupiter. It makes it a little more iffy for me because that energy is so at war with everything. It's such a strong masculine energy, like it's so overpowering. It's that thing that wants to fight everything, right? That's kicking off tomorrow. And then we've got this other energy that's laid on top of that, that's delusional. Neptune, that's the one. Neptune's in retrograde, and it's completely delusional. I mean, it's just like people got water in their brains. So watch it this week. Try not to get too aggravated with what people are talking about or with what you see on the news, because remember, it's all a ploy. It's just a ploy to keep you down, to hold you down from doing the bigger work that you need to do, from ascending past all this. But it is a whole big old pain in the you-know-what. So y'all just, y'all stay cool, right? Like, try not to get unhinged at all. But if you can watch the shower tonight, you totally should. I think it's going to be really, really cool. I'm going to go out and watch it and see what we can do with it. I just realized we're missing Chastity. What in the world? I wonder what's going on with her. Okay. You guys have a special election going on tomorrow. I will tell you, be prepared for whoever has the stronger, more rigid views to be the one who takes that seat. It's funny, right? Because I'm not political, and I don't get into political conversations for obvious reasons. I think they're all horrible criminals and need to go you know where. But it's interesting to see what's in play right now. Carol, who are you talking about? I know. Where is she? What are you talking about? I'm not sure. I may just be getting blonde. Yeah, Kelsey, watch that though. I mean, not that it changes anything. Everybody that's coming in right now to put that authoritarian, oh God, principle back harshly into the mind of the public is coming in to do exactly what they're supposed to do. Chastity, I don't know where she is. I don't know what she's going on. Carol, I don't know. It's strange. I saw her online today. She probably just had something going on. She may have gone to Vegas. That's what she calls it when they go into town. She had said that the other day, and I swear to God, I thought she was going to Las Vegas. And she was like, no, that's just what we say when we're going into town. She's probably doing her thing. But you guys keep a check on with each other. Yeah, Tammy, they're all criminals. Believe me. Let's see. Neither great options, but whoever has voted the ballot again in November and take over the next term. You know, listen, personally, I know a lot of you guys will think I'm irresponsible for this, but I quit participating in the elections years ago because I realized it had nothing to do with me anymore. Like it was the illusion of some choice. But whatever these crazy psychopaths want and where they steer the ship, and they're all in the same boat together. Trust me, it doesn't matter whether they're flying blue or red. It goes in whatever direction they want. Personally, I don't participate anymore. Many years ago, I was in Turkey. I used to work in the news industry. And I was in Turkey when Erdogan, when the military coup happened. So I have seen some funky things. Everybody's had fraud in their primaries, sweetie. Listen, there's nothing but fraud in 3D reality. All of those things come up to piss everybody off, right? To make everybody feel like they got gypped, to make everybody feel like their side should have won, like do you know what I'm saying? It pits people. We have to be real careful right now not to separate ourselves more than we've already agreed to be separated. It's just craziness. When you think back where we were 8 years ago, we weren't here. 6 years ago, we weren't here. It doesn't matter who's in office. We silently and willingly participated in all this. It's just time for us to pull back the reins and take control again, not keep going down that road. If we're going to create a new reality, we have to step up to the plate. We have to quit playing with these lunatics, right? It's like playing with bullies on the playground and then wondering why you get crap thrown at you. That's what they do, right? They're not capable of passing the ball. I mean, they're just going to hit you in the head with it. This is what these people do. It's a hot mess. Oh, God, but I wish you the best of luck. It is. I mean, listen, everybody's, I think everybody's hot button topics have played musical chairs a lot over the last couple of years. It's been interesting to watch it, but I just sit in the middle and eat the cake. Do you know what I mean? It's like cakewalk. I'm just in the middle cheating, eating the cake, watching everybody running around in the chairs. At the end of the day, I got my cake. If you know what I'm saying, I'm just like, I can't. I have to stay focused where I'm at and try to proceed in opening myself up and putting as much loving energetic out there as I can to open that space, like we were talking about you doing with your coworker. I have to keep that space open for people, and I just don't have time to deal with the rest of this garbage. I mean, it's important. I get it. There are things that we have to stand up for, but we also have to figure out what we want first. That was part of what I was saying in the message today that you were saying, resonated. We have to be very clear about what we want. I like to see everybody come in these communities of collectives, because when you're working with 7 or 8 or 9 people on a spiritual level, it's much easier to hone in on what the collective wants, right? It makes it much easier to progress too, because obviously there's strength in numbers. That's why we do these classes and these collectives. You've backed off a lot on the politics and either unfollowed or unfriended. They do, but you know what? Just disengage. It's kind of like what I was saying with Carol. You don't have to unfriend. That's your choice, but you don't have to unfriend or unfollow people because of what they feel strongly about. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't matter at the end of the day. As long as you're not engaging with them, you can totally work around it without it becoming a problem, right? We've just gotten in this thing. We've just gotten in this thing on this planet of it's me or it's you or it's them or it's us. And it's hard. We've all fallen in that trap. I'm guilty too. We have, every single one of us have done it. But we have to pull out. We've got to pull out of here. There's a lot affecting healthcare. It's more than meets the eye and mindful. So it is. Carol, I'm with you. It was actually just one of my clients works in, well, I'll say in-home healthcare. She's taken care of people, invalid people in her home for many years. I own a partnership in a nephrology business in Atlanta that I've had for 20 years, I guess. So I've watched all the changes come down the line, just like you have. It is changed immensely, and the American people have lost control over their health care. I mean, at this point, it's also big pharma and big corporate. I mean, the small guys are going out. We're lucky that we held on as a private practice, right? But we're just holding out. But it has shifted tremendously, and all that money and time that people put into it, and they don't get so much out of it. I was on universal health care in Italy. We pay more in taxes. Well, I say more, but I'll be honest with you, it's only like 7 or 8% more than what I pay here. But the care was pretty doggone good, to be honest. I mean, and I had a couple of things I had to go through there, and it was pretty easy to maneuver through them, given where we are today. Now, 5 years ago, I would have said there's nothing better than an American hospital, except for maybe a Russian hospital. They have great surgeons and great hospitals. But it's changed so dramatically now that, man, I don't go unless I'm dying. I just can't even do it. It scares the crap out of me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, listen, we also have to take responsibility for health, right? Like, I mean, there's some things we can't control. There's genetic predispositions, there's underlying issues that are going on, but so much of what's going on with us can be controlled with our mental state and our psychological well-being, our emotional well-being, and our diet. And with holistic care, that we have to take it back over. We kind of have to go back to where we were before, because I don't think we really progressed that much. We did in technology, but we didn't in intelligence. We've lost so much of that I think we really have to go back to it. But I'm with you 100% on that. I do a lot of holistic medicine. I make antibiotic actually out of olive oil. Well, not olive oil, sorry, garlic oil. So I press the garlic, organic garlic, and then let it sit in honey overnight. And it's like penicillin. We need to balance, darling, we need to balance everything, Eastern and Western. See, this is where the problem comes in, that we're separated. We've been separated intentionally for a long time, but somewhere in the mix of all of these things merging together, we find a truer, wholer version of who and what we are. That should be the goal, right? That should be what we're aiming for, is higher clarity, more love and respect, and pulling all these things together, even if the powers that be don't want us to do that. We have the power. We can take it back. Absolutely. And girls, with that, I'm going to close it out for the night. It's 8:29. I love y'all so much. Tammy, I will go ahead and tell you the recipe now. Before I do that, just take, I take like 3 cloves of garlic and I slice them. I don't pound them all the way. If you want to let the oil come out of it, just slice it, not like diced, just like slice it down the center. And let the oil come out for about 10 minutes, and then drop it. If you've got an old medicine bottle, like a brown medicine bottle is even better, drop it in there, fill it up with honey, and put it in a dark cabinet. All of that oil releases into the honey, and 1 tablespoon is like taking a half a dose of penicillin, basically. So I would take 2 if I want a full dose. But yeah, absolutely. I'm always happy to share information. If you guys ever want some awesome recipes, I'm happy to do that too. But I want to thank you guys for being with me tonight. Thanks for putting up with me. I know everybody was expecting Rachel, but we're always so grateful that y'all are here. And we love you guys so much. And Carol, I appreciate your wisdom as well, sweet girl. I'm grateful to be in this collective with all of you and to have this time with you. It's important. It's important for me too. I know it's important for everybody in the network. And I hope y'all know we're sincere about that, but we're so thankful and so grateful for each one of you. I'll see you guys again on Thursday. Tomorrow, Victor's coming up, unless he pulls getting sick on me too. And if he does, then I will be here tomorrow with the new feathers on my head. But hopefully not. Nobody wants to see that. I love you guys. I wish y'all all the best. I will talk to you over the next couple of days. There'll be lots of updates coming out. And just know you're in my thoughts and my prayers, okay? Love you guys. Oh, sorry, Victor's saying Wednesday. Not tomorrow. Sorry. Okay, so maybe tomorrow I'm going to come in and dress like Victor and put some feathers on my head and whatever. Anyway, Victor will be here Wednesday, so. Thanks, Kelsey. I appreciate you, sweetheart. There's Chastity. Mio Dio. Girl, You did almost miss us. We were just asking about you too, and now I'm signing out, you turkey. But everybody can take a minute to say hey to Chastity. Everybody was missing you. Carol was asking where you were too. We thought it was strange you weren't in. But I sure do love you, girls, and I love you, Victor. I hope everybody has a really good night. You guys be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Know how important, how strong, and how loved you are. And I will see you guys